Let's stop here. Thank you, Max. Very good. Just for my own edification, why did you come to Juilliard?
It's the best music conservatory in the country.
People from Curtis, Eastman, and others may beg to differ. I mean, Juilliard's a brand, right? So did you come to study with a brand?
No.
No, right. So there's a teacher or a graduate somewhere down the line who, you know, conjured something in your imagination, someone you aspired to be yourself. So who was that?
Sarah Chang.
So you're a violinist?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I can see why you would choose to conduct a piece like this. Must be a familiar pleasure in presiding over a bed of strings that behave as if they're tuning. Now, this piece is very au courant. I mean, here, the composer tells us to begin with back and forth tremolo strokes with wire brush and slowly sliding crotales over skin. Sounds like Rene Redzepi's recipe for reindeer. It's exciting to play new music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. All right, please, join the other fellows. Now, I know you're all conducting students of Mr. Wolf's, but how many of you are also studying composition? Right, what's your name?
Olive Kerr.
All right, Olive. What do you make of what we've just been listening to?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, there's incredible atonal tension.
I agree about the tension part. Now, you can intellectually contemplate or masturbate about the felicity of the so-called atonal, but the important question here is, what are you conducting? What is the effect? What is it actually doing to me? Good music can be as ornate as a cathedral or bare as a potting shed, so long as it allows you to answer both those questions. Max, come on, what do you think?
When Anna Thorwald's daughter gave her master class, she said she was often influenced by the form and structure of landscapes and nature she grew up within. But I'm not sure she was interested per se in describing those actual sounds.
Very punct contrapunct. Yes. The intent of her composition is vague, to say the least. So, if her intent is vague, how do you, as a conductor, have a point of view about anything? Now, to be fair, I mean, there are times when you will simply have no choice, and you will be made to stand in front of an orchestra and pretend that there are these invisible structures. But my prayer for you is that you will be spared the embarrassment of standing on the podium with a 433 trying to sell a car without an engine. Because now, my friends, now is the time to conduct music that actually requires something of you. You know, music that everybody knows but will hear differently when you interpret it for them. For instance, Max, why not a Kyrie? You know, like something like Bach's Mass in B minor.
I'm not really into Bach.
You're not into Bach? Oh, Max. Have you read the Schweitzer book?
No.
Well, you should. It's an important text. Antonia Brico thought so. So much so that she shipped herself to equatorial Africa and canoed up the Congo River to track Schweitzer down and ask him to teach her what he knew about Bach. I mean, somewhere I've got a picture of her in a pith helmet. I mean, have you ever played or conducted Bach?
Honestly, as a BIPOC, pangender person, I would say Bach's misogynistic life makes it kind of impossible for me to take his music seriously.
Come on. What do you mean by that?
Well, didn't he sire like 20 kids?
Yes, that's documented, along with a considerable amount of music. But I'm sorry, I'm unclear as to what his prodigious skills in the marital bed have to do with B minor. Sure, All right, whatever. That's your choice. I mean, after all, a soul selects her own society. But remember, the flip side of that selection closes the valves of one's attention. Now, of course, siloing what is acceptable or not acceptable is a basic construct of many, if not most, symphony orchestras today who see it as their imperial right to curate for the cretins. So, slippery as it is, there is some merit in examining Max's allergy. Can classical music, written by a bunch of straight Austro-German church-going white guys, exalt us? Individually, as well as collectively. And who, may I ask, gets to decide that? You know, what about Beethoven? You into him? Because for me, as a U-Haul lesbian, I'm not too sure about old Ludwig. But then I face him, and I find myself nose to nose with his magnitude and inevitability. Come on, Max, indulge me. Let's allow Bach a similar gaze. Sit. Now, this is all filigree, right? I mean, it could be a first-year piano student. Or Schroeder playing for Lucy. Or Glenn Gould, for that matter. Now, it's not until it changes, you get inside it, that you hear what it really is. It's a question. And an answer. Which begs another question. There's a humility in Bach. He's not pretending he's certain about anything. Because he knows that it's always the question that involves the listener. It's never the answer, right? Now, the big question for you is, what do you think, Max?
You play really well. But nowadays, white, male, cis composers, just not my thing.
Don't be so eager to be offended. The narcissism of small differences leads to the most boring conformity.
I guess Edgar Varese is okay. I mean, no, like, Arcana, anyway.
Oh, well, then you must be aware that Varese once famously stated that jazz was a Negro product exploited by the Jews. Didn't stop Jerry Goldsmith from ripping him off for his Planet of the Apes score. It's kind of a perfect insult, don't you think? But you see, the problem with enrolling yourself as an ultrasonic epistemic dissident is that if Bach's talent can be reduced to his gender, birth country, religion, sexuality, and so on, then so can yours. Now, someday, Max, when you go out into the world and you guest conduct for a major or minor orchestra, you may notice that the players have more than light bulbs and music on their stands. They will also have been handed rating sheets, the purpose of which is to rate you. Now, what kind of criteria would you hope that they would use to do this? Your score reading and stick technique, or something else? All right, everyone. Using Max's criteria, let's consider Max's thing. In this case, Anna Thorvaldsdottir. Now, can we agree on two pieces of observation? One, that Anna was born in Iceland, and two, that she is, in a Waldorf teacher kind of way, a super hot young woman. Show of hands. All right, now let's turn our gaze back to the piano bench up there and see if we can square how any of those things possibly relate to the person we see seated before us. Where are you going?
You f***ing bitch.